Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, welcome in. Bring your beverages. It's 8:30 on a Wednesday night, so it's outsiders time. There's an old face that's in a new place, and it's an old face that's new again for the Texas Longhorn football team. And one of our guys, let me get this right, one of our guys has a couple stories to share tonight. And I think y'all know which one that is. But first, let me mention that the outsiders are brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. Let's think spring. Let's think outdoors. Let's think colorful. Let's think short sleeves. They got a ton of them. PonchoOutdoors.com. Mention Orange Bloods Live when you order those incredible shirts. Speaking of the incredible shirts, I got one of the great t-shirts on. They've also got hats. You see, Bo's got it. Bo got me one too. Look at that. Look at that big old face right there. That's like one of them 5-pound bastards that Robert Earl Keen used to sing about right there now. Good stuff. Nothing wrong with a little trucker hat from Poncho if you can get it. PonchoOutdoors.com. Y'all jump on in the chat. Look at this. We got our man Chris Bennett, 39 hours and counting without power. Chris Bennett somehow watching us without power. That is how dedicated he is. He's using what's left of his power to watch the show. Thank you, Chris Bennett, for that.
Chris, keep your phone charge on instead of watching videos of us.
Dumb question, Amnesty, and I apologize. Is there some sort of natural disaster in the Pacific Northwest I don't know about, or did Chris just not pay his electric bill?
I'm pretty sure they had some pretty big storms all weekend and early this week.
Yeah, I do not know what that is.
Hang in there.
It might be from his tears from watching the Texas basketball team play.
Maybe.
Mass flooding events for all Longhorn fans.
Just went outside and smashed a transformer.
Halfway through the first half, Texas down 4 at Arkansas. We'll keep our eyes on that one as the show progresses. Chris Bennett, we hope you're doing well.
No, we won't.
We won't. We won't. We'll actually talk about happier things. We'll talk about Dwayne Akina coming back to Texas, and ATX Bates says Sam Kinison should play Dwayne Akina in the movie. Bates, thank you so much for that suggestion. A lot of energy when it comes to Dwayne Akina, and Sam Kinison certainly had a lot of that.
We don't always have to name dead people when we're comparing to actors.
Apparently
it doesn't
we do.
Always have to be dead people.
Apparently you're wrong about that, Bo. Just like you were wrong about Philip Seymour Hoffman when you first brought it up. That is what's going on. All right, let's get everybody's drink on the table here. Our quarterback is the upper left. It's Mach 5. I'm sure he's got a celebratory drink ready for an old coach friend of his that's coming back to town. What do you got tonight, Chance Mach? What are we drinking?
Tonight is, you know what? I decided to get a little crazy because I saw something in the store. I took the Jason Dick approach. Just walk in the store and find something.
Always the way to go.
And then I grew up with this little thing called Sunny D.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Oh.
But now they have a little thing called Sunny D Vodka Seltzer.
Oh, snap.
No.
So Sunny D Vodka Seltzer. It is. In celebration of Coach Akina.
Is it good? Have you tried it?
It's delicious. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you what. There's a list of things I can tell you I dig about my father-in-law. One of them is when I visit the house, my man's got Sunny D all the time.
Wow.
Like, it's never orange juice. It's always Sunny D, and I always say yes. And I love a glass of Sunny D, so I can't wait to add some vodka seltzer. That's fantastic.
So in honor of that, when we take our first break, well, we don't really have breaks, but when Chad's elaborating about the greatness of Last Stand hats, I'm going to go get a Sunny D out of the pantry and mix it with some MVP vodka, and I'll join the Bo Seltzer Sunny D Club.
That's a good idea, too. A Sunny D screwdriver. That sounds like a good idea.
I'll
give
just
you another
brown water in a Mungia real estate cup, but you know what? I will, in honor of Chance's Seltzer, I will get that cranking.
Okay, Bo Edge, Country Gorilla, skipping the line there, as sometimes Country Gorillas can do. Brown water in the cup. That's what you got tonight.
Well, for the time being, but it's about to be Sunny D because
it's going to be.
We have a pantry stocked with it too. We don't put it in the fridge. It's to be poured over ice.
There you go. Apparently, Jason, he doesn't care what the right side of the show is drinking tonight. I'm going to tell you, Jason, that I'm having Deep Eddy pineapple vodka and Sprite. It's a simple combo, but it is tasty as hell.
Yeah.
I would suggest that to anyone. The lower right, as always, is Jason Dick. He drinks weird stuff. He brings them to us. He drinks it live on air. What do you got?
Well, it's been a long day for your guy, gentlemen. All right. I played 2 hours of pickleball this morning. And then I went to the theater to see The Brutalist. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with the film The Brutalist. It's going to win some Academy Awards on Sunday night. It is
Super long.
3 hours and 35 minutes plus a 15-minute intermission plus 26 minutes of bullshit at the beginning, including a Geico commercial. They're just showing commercials between the trailers now. What kind of a world is this, man? Wow. And then I came home. I've recorded 2 episodes of the critically acclaimed podcast, Jason Dick and Friends, available wherever you find podcasts. I have not had time to have dinner. So tonight I am drinking a meal. I have an Atkins protein shake that I'm having. And because
he's going for a Rob Lowe body.
I am criminally guilty of repeating jokes. It's a creamy vanilla. Another great rap name for me. Creamy vanilla.
Creamy vanilla
would
be good.
Let's party. But yeah, these things are delicious and will sustain me for 60 to 75 minutes of The Outsiders.
Creamy vanilla Atkins is what Jason Dick is going with. And apparently we are off to that kind of a start. Chris Bennett says Robert Reed, the dad from the Brady Bunch, should play Akina. All right. We will get to all of that, I'm sure. It is official. It's done. If you guys have your reaction as Texas fans to the new DB's coach, well, let's see. Past defensive passing game coordinator and maybe the safeties coach as well, just like Terry Joseph was. I don't know that we officially had the title yet, but I think that's where it's going to be headed. But Dwayne Akina is back. By the way, we also have the Mach 5 top 5 coming up very, very soon, and it is DB related. We're going to get your favorite Texas DBs of all time. Chance will start us off with that in a few minutes. But Chance, I want you to start us off with this Dwayne Akina discussion. I know this one's close to your heart. I thought of you immediately when I heard the name. I've heard plenty of those DBU guys talk about Coach Akina, from the Babers and the Griffin and Ross and Huff, and I've heard them all talk about him. I'm not sure how many offensive guys I've heard talk about Coach Akina. What was it like to be on a team with Coach Akina?
Well, first of all, I was disappointed last year. If you remember, there were rumors circulating last year that he may be joining the staff. And I had a chance to talk to Coach Akina. Unfortunately, it was a terrible, circumstance, but, at Cleve Bryant's funeral, had a chance to talk to him. And I was really excited about the opportunity of him coming back because I know what kind of a man he is. But here's the thing people forget. Dwayne Akina was a quarterback. He was an offensive guy. What better person would you want to coach your DBs, but the guy that knows what DBs, what he wants DBs to do and what causes problems. And the thing about Dwayne Akina that I think is so incredible is the man that he is. And I know you've heard all the guys talk about it. A. Ross, Huff, Ced Griffin, Rod B. They'd all tell you the same thing. He's a genuine guy. In a world where most people are fake, Dwayne Akina is a guy that is genuine. Sometimes he's going to jump your ass. Sometimes he's going to love on you, but you always know that he's in your corner, right? And I loved, as an offensive guy, I loved watching Akina because I'd torch the DBs on a ball during practice, and he would rip their ass up one side of the tree and down the other. And when he did that, Jason froze with his eyes closed. I was like, Jesus, am I putting him to sleep in the first 5 minutes of the show? Good grief. But no, when you have a guy like that, that's so knowledgeable, that's been around the game for so long and done so much, and at his age, to be able to have the intensity that he has, I think he's a huge addition. He brings a mentality that I think, there was a video that came out today with Arch Manning and talking about, basically the mindset within that locker room right now and the mentality that they have. That's Dwayne Akina's mentality. Dwayne Akina is a guy that will he'd get into a phone booth and fight you. Like, that's who he is. And that's the mentality that he's going to give to these DBs. And I mean, what a great addition to the staff. I can't tell you how excited I am. I want to hear some of the other guys' opinions on hiring Akina, but also after that, I got to tell you a story about why I love Dwayne Akina, and it relates more to the quarterback situation than the DBs.
Okay, we'll get back around to that. Bo Edge, tell me what your thought was when you heard that not only the talk of Akina, but it's going to be him again.
I think it's a great thing for the University of Texas. I think his track record kind of speaks for itself. Every stop he's made from before he got to Texas to after he's got to Texas, he puts guys in the NFL. I'm not into it as much as Chance as far as on a personal level. I don't know Coach Akina very well. I've met him a couple times in passing. But what I do know is the results. I do know that he takes guys and he puts them in the right position. And the best part, if you read about his coaching, the way he cross-trains DBs to be versatile, where you're not just your left corner, your right corner, your nickel corner, and you're the two safeties. No, throughout the practice times, he moves guys around. That doesn't mean that you're not going to roll out the same spot on the game, but he has every guy prepared to play every position in their realm, corners at corner, safeties at safety, to where they do have versatility, to where you're not just one guy, and if you get in a bad spot, you can't be subbed out. No, he builds teams of DBs, and I'm ready to see it.
Jason Dick, what'd you think when you heard?
I guess I was a little surprised in that Sark has sort of, gone with all of his guys all along. But it's good to have, sort of a connection to that era of Texas football. And I mean, like Bo said, his resume is pretty incredible. If he didn't preside over the origin, certainly the glory days of DBU. So great to have him back. And I will offer this piece of advice, Mr. Akina, as somebody who was once fired from a job and then rehired for the exact same position. Don't get fired again, okay? Because the second one hurts. It's worse. All right.
That one sticks. Does it sting even worse the second time?
It was worse because you're like, God damn, they really want to fire me. Why are they into firing me?
Jason, would you tell him to keep a bag packed just in case? Or is that your advice? Too?
No. Just win games. Don't give up a lot of points, and you're gonna be fine. All right.
Make sure. Okay. All right.
Well,
there you go.
Chance, when we got the second time we got bounced on radio, it was at a different station. And we literally just walked out.
Wow.
So does that count as being fired again?
No. That's a totally separate person. Okay, when you get fired by the same guy 2 times,
in fairness, Jason. In fairness, I was not the most well behaved, and I might have locked doors and put pictures of blue-footed boobies up on the wall and had an entire.
Might have. I swear you had watched Private Parts by Howard Stern and decided, how are we going to piss off Fat Gene Bender, the Christian AM radio station guy next to Coke FM?
Every time
I get to look on Eric Reigns' face when Eric and Bob are standing there as Gene's banging on the door. You can't do that. And we're literally naming the pictures of the blue-footed boobies on the air.
Oh, hey, Bo can vouch for me. This is a true thing. Every time I got in trouble for something I was not supposed to say on that station, I wrote it on my wall. It would make it a point to say it every day.
Yes, there was a list. Not a top 10 list because it went longer than that. But there would be a moment of the show where Chance would just read statements he was told not to say.
No, nobody puts baby in a corner. Come on.
No.
We see the chats coming in. We see that super chat that came in as well. ATX Bates always trying to make it weird on a Wednesday, and we welcome that. We'll get to it, Bates, I promise. After we thank the first of our great partners, and that would be Covert Ford. It is Sergio time.
Hi, I'm Sergio Garcia, professional golfer.
And I'm Angela Garcia, a 7th-generation Texan. And as a child, I grew up on a ranch in the hill country, and we had countless Covert Ford vehicles on that ranch. I saw firsthand just how reliable Covert is and how their customer service cannot be beat.
And just like in golf, being reliable, on point, and consistent is the most important thing. So if you want the best of the best, visit our friends at
hope y'all are seeing that whole spot. For some reason, it stops a little bit for me every time. It's like Sergio needs to get out of that chair. I don't know what's going on. All right, let's get a super chat going here. We do have the Mach 5 Top 5 coming up as well. ATX Bates $4.99. Cheers to making stuff weird. Sipping on a great pickle pineapple sour beer. That sounds like a terrible idea. Also, why is Arkansas's home court logo a rabies slobbering anorexic pig? It is the worst version of a Razorback you could ever imagine on that basketball floor.
You mean it's alive?
It's horrible.
Because the only good Razorback's a dead Razorback.
I mean, it's just of the live version, Bo. Yes, you're right. Like, see, this is one of those things. This is me as a logo helmet kind of guy. If you think to yourself, hey, how are we going to paint the spit on the court? What do you mean the spit? I mean the spit coming out of the Razorback's mouth. Well, Earl, we don't have to paint that. Yeah, we do. You need to get rid of your artist at that point. Oh. Spit on the court does not need to be painted.
The only thing I will give Arkansas credit for, pretty much in anything, is they have found a way to take two major sponsors that belong together like peas and carrots. Their floor has Walmart and Tyson Chicken. There is no better symbolism of where you get the Tyson Chicken nuggets than Walmart.
They are leaning into that. You're absolutely right.
It says Arkansas, okay? It just says Fayetteville.
In a world of nuggets, the worst nugget is Tyson. I'm sorry. They're not terrible. But,
They're terrible.
They're god-awful. Even for, like, 5-year-olds. Like, when your 5-year-old wants nuggets, they look at Tyson and they're like, no.
No, if you go get a chilled Tyson chicken breast, like H-E-B, Walmart, whatever, even those, like, they're like the super, like, got the tendons in them and, like, they got the chewy bits, and it's just terrible.
Damn. Now, that's a commercial they don't want you to hear.
No, Tyson's chicken has to be that place where, like, the genetically deformed headless chickens are running around, that their only purpose is to create breast and thighs. Like, that has to be Tyson's chicken, right?
Hey, Arkansas fans, have you been missing the tendons in your chicken? Come on down.
I'm going to paint this spit on the court and then get some deep fried tendons.
Fried tendons. They do sell those, I'm sure, at the basketball game.
We're passing up the chitlins and going straight to the tendons.
In a little boat, in one of those little boats like we used to have Frito pies in, just chicken fried tendons.
That's where they get the little hog hat, They serve the deep fried tendons in the hog hat and then they just put it on their head.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, Chance Mock. When I was little, one of the first times I ever went to a A&M game, probably one of my first 3 to 5 games. It was Arkansas, and I have never felt more normal as an Aggie than when I saw my first Arkansas fan wearing that hat. Like, it really gave me a real comforting feeling. Like, oh, so we're weird. We're really weird. But I'm not wearing that.
Okay,
I'm not wearing that.
So put this down in the notes for later. A Mach 5 Top 5 for later down the road in the doldrums of summer.
Yes.
Has to be worst headgear by any fan base. Because I'm telling you, the little corn for Nebraska, that has to be on there.
All right. Let's do it. Don't send them down that road tonight. You'll freak them out. Speaking of such things, I don't see any super chats right now. So if y'all want to throw one in, you can certainly do that. But why don't we get to that Mach 5 Top 5? Because it kind of ties in to Coach Akina and the position that he loves so much and that he will be coaching when he comes back. And Bo, God love you. You even found a sponsor for the Mach 5 Top 5. Tell the folks a little bit about Integro Construction Services.
This is just the beginning of the story with Integro. We'll be bringing more information throughout the shows in the future here on The Outsiders. They are the sponsor of the Mach 5 Top 5. Here's what you need to know, and I am reading this because I don't want to screw it up because this is important. Have you heard of the nanotech that can save years of your roof, of your concrete, of anything you need outdoors? The nanotech custom technology takes one application, and you're good for 15 plus more years. It's remarkable. You've seen it on TV. It's a coating that instead of replacing the shingles or the underlay of your roof, they spray your roof. One time, not a bunch of it's weather resistant, it handles it all. And Integro is the new licensed nanotech dealer here in Central Texas. So scan the QR code, give them a call, 987-1273. We'll be telling you more about what Integro does, but this was the one they really wanted to get out there this time. They can do the nanotech. You've seen it on the internet. You've seen commercials on TV. Not everybody is a licensed nanotech dealer. They are. So if you don't want to have to replace your roof, but you know that the hail's coming, it's Central Texas. It will get you at some point. Insurance companies aren't going to keep paying for it. Figure out another way. Nanotech is the way. Integro is how you get there. 987-1273. It is Integro Construction Services.
Hey, Jason, you know what happens when you put that nanotech on the hog spit?
What
beads
up?
right up.
What?
Just beads right up. You just wipe it away.
You can't even cook the hog. If you put the nanotech on, the hog meat will not be cooked.
That's it. It'll work. All right, Chance Mock. It is the Mock 5, top 5, and this one is, in a way, this one's right. I mean, it's right down your alley because these are the guys you used to have to figure out. You had to practice against these dudes. You had to try to figure out what they were thinking. We're going in honor of Coach Akina. Your favorite, again, not necessarily best, your favorite Texas DBs, your favorite DBU members of all time, top 5. Chance Mock, what did you do?
All right. So my very, very, very first one we got to start off with is my honorable mention. Michael Huff gets honorable mention. I love me some Huff Daddy. Had a great time. Loved playing with the dude. Really, I loved practicing against him because those guys make you so good. Having to go against him every day in practice, it made it way easier on the games because we very rarely faced DBs quite as good as what we saw in the practice. But number 5, because I love him, because I've just fallen in love with the kid. He's a current player. Oh, Mr. Mookie Taft. Oh, wow. I love the fact that the dude has gone from being a walk-on, not only a walk-on to a starter. Damn. Not only a walk-on to a starter, but a walk-on to a starter to an All-American. And he's coming back. I love Mookie Taft. We're not talking best. You said favorite.
I did. You're right. Go ahead.
You said favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Numero cuatro.
Mr. 4.
A guy that originally signed with Texas. There were some issues that he was not able to enroll. It didn't have to do with him. There were some issues that went back to his high school. They had to get him worked out. Showed a tremendous amount of patience. I don't know many kids at his age going through what he went through could have stayed in shape, done the thing he did. Not only that, married an Olympian, NFL career, and that is Mr. Aaron Ross. Love that dude. Started out rocky. I don't know how many people know that story, but it was rough the first year. Couldn't get enrolled, couldn't play, had to sit out a year. Shitty situation, but turned out great. Number 3, because we love his high-pitched voice, we love the way he breaks down plays. Our friend, Rod B. The man, the myth, the legend, the king of black and milds, Rod B. Guy could smoke a black and mild at 6:30 in the morning and cover a guy running 4.3 in the afternoon. It was beautiful.
Rod B at number 3.
Number 2, his name says everything about being a DB, and he played like it, and the dude was a badass, none other than Mr. Quentin Jammer.
Okay.
And number 1, because he is one of only 2 players from the University of Texas that I absolutely loved, even when I was a Texas Tech fan growing up, because the dude could just lay wood. He was a menace in the defensive backfield, and that is none other than the man, Bryant Westbrook.
All right, there we go. Chances going with Westbrook, Jammer, Babers, Ross, and Taft, 1 through 5. It's the Mock 5 top 5. Stage 1 is we unleash the list on Jason Dick. Jason Dick, your thoughts. We do this because A, we have to hear what you think because we value your opinion. And B, we know how much you love to tell Chance when he's wrong. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I love that you had Brian Westbrook number 1. I thought that was going to be my ace in the hole replacement because I believe it was Notre Dame 1996 when he lights up that running back on the option. I'm not kidding you guys. I quit football the next day. I was like, I'm not built for this. This is not.
This ain't my sport. People.
That's not for me. But golly, who am I? I don't want to eliminate any of these guys. I like all these guys. Let's see here. I know who I'm going to put in, guys. All right, and you might be shocked to hear, but I am only not in prison today because of the efforts of Blake Gideon. Okay, Halloween. 2008 in Lubbock when he dropped what would have been the game-clinching interception, likely propelling Texas to the national championship game. I was watching that game on a cruise ship, all right, with fans from all across the world, including a gentleman wearing a USC sweatshirt who was very much enjoying that Texas Tech was beating up on us. And I sat quietly, and I just took it because I knew Colt was going to bring us back, all right? Colt was going to win this game, and he did. He did all the things, all right? And I swore to myself, when Texas wins this game, I'm going to throw this man in the USC sweatshirt overboard, okay? I am going to throw him off of the boat. But Blake Gideon dropped that ball, and so I didn't commit murder that day, and I'm not in prison. So Blake Gideon, you are getting – no, I'm just kidding. He's dead to me forever. Earl Thomas is the answer. I'm going Earl Thomas because Earl Thomas – had a three-way with his brother, with a woman who was not his wife on Mother's Day, and he flipped off his own sideline while being carted off in the NFL. That is a man who is fearless, okay? That is a man who is absolutely fearless. So I'm putting Earl Thomas in the number 5 spot. Sorry, Michael Taft. I'm sorry.
There was a three-way involved in this?
You know, that's not actually legitimately reported.
I did not hear that part of the story.
If you want to, if you slum it in the streets of the internet where I do, there's some intel on what he might have done on a Mother's Day a couple of years ago.
Talking about slumming it, Jason, I know you like to swim in the deep pools of the cesspool that is the interwebs. Did y'all hear about a girl from Houston that might go to a little place called Old Miss that might have found some interest in her boyfriend's father, and the boyfriend ended up staying with her?
I have not read. Chance, I've not read through that full post, but apparently Orange Blood's flipped out today, and I still have not read through the whole thing.
That sounds like an Ole Miss tradition, if you ask me.
I haven't been on Orange Bloods today, but I'm intrigued.
That is not necessarily what they mean when they say hottie toddy, but you never know.
But hold on. So the girl was with the boyfriend and then hooked up with Pops?
Yep.
Yeah.
And boyfriend did not leave.
Nope.
He was good with it.
Yeah.
Did Pops leave?
I'm wondering if Mom's going to leave Pops at this point.
Oh, yeah.
If
Pops is divorced, then maybe him and son are like
all you got to do is look up a little name called Mary Kate Cornett. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Jason's already typing it into his Googles.
All right. Yeah, go check that out. All right, Bo. So make sure we're official here. Earl.
Wait, who are you taking out?
Taft. Look, I love Michael Taft as well. All right. And I hope he's great in his 7th year of eligibility. But I'm going to put Earl Thomas on the list in the 5 spot.
Okay. So Taft is out. Earl Thomas is in. I think in Round Rock they call this the creamy vanilla. Bo, Earl Thomas at 5. Ross, Rod B, Jammer, and Westbrook rolling up the list. Do you have an issue with those 5?
I can't knock Bryant Westbrook as number 1. Bryant is a dog, and Bryant is an awesome individual. If you get to know him outside of football, Bryant is he's coaching the youth of America in Arizona, and he's number 1 with a bullet. I am going to amend. I'm doing 2 things to the list.
Okay.
We're going for a combo pack with Quentin Jammer, which is fair in the Mock 5 top 5 because if you're related, you compare them together. And there is no better nickname than Quandre the Giant when Quandre played, and he was a Titan. And I have a sign. No, Quandre's on the list, but I can't bump somebody for Quandre, so we're just making it the Jammer brothers, and it's Jammer and Quandre.
Hold on, stop. Let's stop here. We need a ruling on this. So you're saying that if the 2 people are related, they can share a spot in the Mach 5 top 5?
They shared a dad. Why can't they share a spot?
You know, if that's the case, I want to put Earl Thomas's brother on with him as well because he's.
And you already did when you told the fictitious internet story.
It's not fictitious. I'm pretty sure it's true. I'm pretty sure.
Chance Mock, the source of the Mach 5 top 5. Do you vote for this idea or against this idea?
I'm going to make a one-time provision.
One time.
This is not like Mary Kate and her escapades. Okay,
we will allow this.
We will allow it one time.
One time. We will allow because it's Quandre Diggs.
Do it again.
Here's what I'll do, Bo. I will allow it as long as both people are worthy, and in this case, they both are. So I'll allow it. You can't.
And you get the cool nickname of Quandre the Giant.
Like you couldn't do the Griffin brothers because as much as I like Michael, Marcus didn't have quite the impact, right?
Wasn't quite that guy. That's right. That's fair. That's totally fair. Totally fair. Okay, so Westbrook, Jammer Diggs, which that rolled off the tongue. Rod Babers, A. Ross, and Earl Thomas are the top 5 at this moment.
I was one was just an addendum. I am changing one of them because we're going favorite. Yes. Jason's a Round Rock boy. I'm a Round Rock boy. There is a better Aaron when it comes to Round Rock boys. Aaron Williams is going to replace Aaron Ross in the 9-hole.
Wow.
And he was a Buffalo Bill, which Chance can get down with.
You just replaced a 2-time Super Bowl winner? Just like that?
With a guy that would have, Chance will attest, since he thinks Buffalo should have won every Super Bowl. If Aaron Williams didn't have to medically retire from the NFL, he would have won multiple Super Bowls with Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yep.
So we're giving him an exemption. This isn't best. This isn't about trophies. This is our favorites. And Aaron Williams will always be a favorite.
All right, I was going to ask about a couple names, and somebody already threw it in. I was going to ask, Randy, thank you for throwing Johnny Johnson's name in. I was also, has anybody else, here's a guy that we didn't mention, at least one of them. Somebody says Jammer Vasher, Earl Thomas, Huff, and Cedric Griffin. It's a solid list there from Big Cheddar. What about, am I too old if I say, what about Jerry Gray? Guys, like, you need Jerry Gray consideration?
No, he's one of the greatest ever to play the game.
Favorite though, like
it's favorite. I know. Okay.
I mean, I think Jerry Gray coach has taken him out of my favorite for Jerry Gray player.
Yeah. Now I will. Okay. I see.
In the teeter-totter of how much I like you, the coaching kind of.
Now, I will say S. Roan did throw one of my favorites in this list. Huff, complete playmaker. Michael Griffin, the USC interception. Taff, Vaccaro, and Raw. I do love me some Kenny Vaccaro.
If he would go whoop Tyreek Hill's ass, he would be number 1 with a bullet. But until that happens, I can't do it.
If y'all could give me a press conference where all I get is Kenny Vaccaro and Quandre Diggs answering any question we ask, that's what I need.
Moderated by Tyreek Hill. So
have you seen?
Can kick his ass.
Did y'all ever see? I want to say it was his rookie year when Vaccaro was with the Saints and he went down to 6th Street. It was, not 6th Street, Bourbon Street, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And was interviewing all these people and asking them questions about him, and like none of them knew, and it was absolutely hysterical. He was like man on the street, but he was actually the man.
Oh, he's the best. He is the man. There's no doubt about that. Let us know what y'all think before I give the final ruling. So Bo has thrown Aaron Williams into the discussion. Aaron Ross somehow has been kicked out. Taff is out. Earl Thomas got put in, and I'm going to have to make the ultimate decision. I'll just say Chance did the one thing I thought he had to do. If the name Bryant Westbrook didn't come up, I was going to stop this whole process.
Yeah.
But he put him at 1. So when you've got for some fan bases, there's one hit that stands above them all. But for some fan bases, there's multiple hits. And when one guy has the multiple hits, I think you got to have him in your favorite DB list. So Bryant Westbrook, a lock. Everything else I can pretty much live with. So let us know if y'all want to fight for any particular names on this list. This is a good one from Scotty B. I did like this one back in the day. Little Stanley Richards.
Yeah.
The sheriff. Wasn't that the
Yeah.
sheriff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Stanley
Chad,
Richards.
So
back in
here's
our
That's quality.
blue-footed booby radio era, we actually had Bryant Westbrook on the air.
Yes.
And he told the story about how him and Leland became friends after the
Really?
fact. Like they had known each other, but Leland attached to him, and we were like, he wasn't mad. He said, I asked him the same question. He said, anybody that hits me that hard, I want on my team the next time something goes astray.
Yeah. I would think so, man. And then it's a weird discussion too about like because if you make me just pick of the two hits, and this is me third party, obviously, and obviously one of them's delivered against my team, I'd go with the Notre Dame hit, but both were in big time games, impactful moment. That 95 game in College Station was a big freaking deal, ending that winning streak. And then the 96 season goes on to be a conference title. So now correct me if I'm wrong. Did they win the Notre Dame game or lose the Notre Dame game in 96?
I thought they lost it.
I thought they lost it. It was 95 against Notre Dame, was it not?
No, it was 95 was A&M.
95 was A&M, 96 was Notre Dame.
Right, because the Leland hit is at the 95 last Southwest Conference game, if I'm not mistaken.
That one's always going to resonate more. Who was it from Notre Dame? Was it Randy Kinder or?
It was Randy Kinder.
Yeah.
Because, Bo, it was followed by the greatest play-by-play call of all time from Keith Jackson. The important thing now is for Randy Kinder to find a place to lie down. Just the greatest call ever.
Well, see, for me, it was so easy because, like I said, I grew up a Texas Tech kid. I was a Texas Tech fan. I was born in Lubbock Methodist Hospital. My dad was a coach at Texas Tech. I grew up a Tech kid. There was two guys for Texas that I loved watching play. Bryant Westbrook, Tony Brackens. And as an opposing, at the time, I wasn't a Texas fan. And when the guy on the other team that you don't like, because I was a Texas Tech fan, so we hated Texas. We didn't like Texas at all. It was, it's sad to say I did the horns down. Although I was a little kid and I was like, we have a gun and y'all have the horns. We can shoot you. I thought that was cool. It was not.
Clever. That's clever. That is some Texas Tech clever right there.
Yeah. And I walked out after watching Tony Brackens annihilate our punter. Like when you're not worried about your own punter and you're like, I love that guy. That's when you know it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was something.
Cue back thanks to Vance's fourth grade writing in crayon. When I grow up, I want to be the doctor that cures Raider rash.
Yes, Rex reminding us they did lose to Notre Dame in 95 and 96. So for me, I've always thought the hit itself, I think, goes to the Kinder hit. But in terms of importance, it's the Leland hit because it was in a bigger game. Texas wins that game. But I think the hit itself, the crowd reaction, the fact that it was in Austin, it's tough to beat that Notre Dame hit for just the pure moment. God, that was something.
And that was back in a time when you could hit like that.
Oh.
Like when you could lead with the crown of your helmet and light a guy up in an option formation when they pitch it to the guy and you just annihilate him.
Well, and also, Chance, how much option football did you play as quarterback? Did you play any true option or not really?
No. We had it as a kind of off-schedule type play, but that
was that play against Notre Dame is one of the greatest examples. If you're trying to teach someone what the phrase hanging someone out to dry means, just watch that play. Watch what Ron Paulus does to Randy Kinder, because it's football malpractice. It is what the quarterback cannot do in the option. You got to eat that at that point. Instead, he made Randy Kinder eat that hit, and that's just wrong.
You do, but going to our top five, the Mach 5 top five, I think the interesting thing is we could build this list. It could be a VY 10 top 10, and you'd still be able to fill the list because hey, you like that right there? Good marketing.
That was clever.
But you really could, because you think about the guys that have come through the program just over the last 30 years and the names that are on there. I mean, it's really impressive what the University of Texas has been able to do at the defensive back position. I mean, the guys they've been able to bring in, I mean, a couple people mentioned Nate Vasher, a couple people mentioned Cedric Griffin. Cedric Griffin doesn't get a lot of the attention because he was a quiet guy. He didn't want to talk to the media. He just wanted to go play football. I mean, and now Cedric's out there coaching kids, and I mean, the dude is just amazing. Michael Griffith is one of them. You know, there's just so many guys that have come through that program. You know, when you're able to be a starter in that defensive backfield, and that's one of the things we talk about Dwayne Akina. Dwayne Akina gets to come in, and he brings with him those trophies of all these guys that he's coached. He brings with it the legacy of those guys he's coached, and that's something the minute he steps in that DB room, automatically you have the respect of the guys in there. You've earned that.
There were so many guys that we didn't even get to that you and I have discussed over time. Guys like Terrell Brown.
Yep.
People don't remember he was before he broke his arm in the national championship game. He was a key contributor, and then went and played 10 years in the NFL,
8 or 9 seasons in the NFL,
like as a starter for good teams, for really good teams. I mean, Chris Boyd is a personal favorite of mine for reasons that are undisclosed on these airwaves, and he's done some dumb things with the Texans, but he's been in the league for 7 years now. Like, I'm sorry, but like there are plenty of guys. I saw this stat, and this will piss off every LSU who thinks they're DBU. Dwayne Akina had 6 guys drafted in the first round, which equaled the number of LSU defensive backs ever drafted in the first round.
Wow.
Like, that's not even counting the Jerry Grays or Raymond Claiborne's or like any number of guys. Jade Barron this year. Dwayne Akina put more guys in the NFL, or the same number of guys as LSU at that position ever. Texas is DBU. Eat it, Bengals.
Over 40 guys drafted by Dwayne Akina. 41 or 42, I think, is that total number that I saw this week. Dwayne Akina back at Texas, the Mach 5 top 5, your favorite Texas DBs of all time. ATX Bates threw his list in earlier. Bryant Westbrook, first time I ever lost my mind for a hit was him hitting the Notre Dame running back. To Jammer, then Thomas, then Griffin. Well, see, he did it too. The Griffin twins working, I don't know. And then Kenny Vaccaro at 5.
But see, I want to. You see Oscars there. Can you put Oscars up? Because yeah. I do want to address that, because that's an interesting. I thought about this, but at the same time, game respects game. Let's not forget who's on this staff and who was the first person to come out after Dwayne Akina and post a picture of him with his Thorpe Award standing with Dwayne Akina. That's Michael Huff. All these guys know Michael Huff. So it doesn't matter how long ago it was. Akina's reputation precedes him. And there's just those guys, you know, I mean, you can cut it 6 ways to Sunday. The fact is, Michael Huff gives a ton of credit to Dwayne Akina, always has, even before he came back. These guys know who Akina is. They know what he's done. They know the product that he's put on the field. And so I understand the question, but I don't think that's an issue.
And even if they weren't born when those Bryant Westbrook hits happen, they know, like Bo just said, this guy puts dudes in the league. All right. That's what he does.
Chance, he was the first one to have the money wall at Texas for DBs, correct?
Yeah.
Like the money wall that's still there was Dwayne Akina's creation. That's all you need to show them. Like the lineage, and this isn't just the Texas guys. I mean, you're going back to like guys that played in the league for a long time, like Chris McAllister from the Ravens, who was a Thorpe Award winner at Arizona when Akina's coached a ton of DBs that have gone to the league, like period. Like, and they didn't hire Dwayne Akina. Maybe I'm mistaken, and y'all can slap me back into my cage if that's the case. They didn't hire Dwayne Akina for his recruiting prowess. They hired Dwayne Akina because of his ability to instruct young men how to be better at their craft. We talked about this. Sark has enough recruiters. This go round, when he's replacing the guys that are leaving, he's replacing them with true football coaches to upgrade the skill set. You know, some guys can recruit and teach, and I'm not saying the other coaches aren't great at it. What I'm saying is guys are better at recruiting than coaching sometimes, and they get brought on staffs because they need the recruiter. These guys weren't brought in to recruit top, 5 stars. They were brought in to teach 5 stars how to become all pros. And Dwayne Akina has that pedigree, and I think they'll be just fine.
Well, and I think, you know, I talked about it earlier. I said I had a Akina story that was very personal to me. And I think people need to understand about Dwayne Akina. When I say the man is genuine, he is genuine. And he's he cares about his kids, and it's obvious. And, you know, so for me, Dwayne Akina was a big reason why I was able to handle the situation with Vince Young the way I did. Because when I initially lost my job to Vince, the guy that was there for me, that talked to me, was Dwayne Akina. Now, a lot of people might say, well, okay, that's nice that what does that matter? You got a guy that's got your back. Well, let me tell you a little story about Dwayne Akina. Dwayne Akina was playing quarterback at a school called Washington. And he had a very similar situation happen to him that happened to me, except instead of it being Vince Young, his was a guy named Warren Moon. You might have heard of him. So Coach Akina had been through that. He had lost his job to Warren Moon. I had recently lost my job to Vince. Having Coach Akina there, because I wasn't in his quarterback, I wasn't in his DB room. What did it matter to him? You know, like it did. I wasn't even the starting quarterback at that time. And, you know, he spent a lot of time I sat in his office and just talked to him, because part of you was pissed. Part of you wanted to cry. Part of you was frustrated because at the time it wasn't a just move. I didn't deserve losing my job. Vince obviously panned out. Most people don't remember, Vincent was not the Vince that won the national championship when they dethroned me. I was the one with 16 touchdowns, no interceptions, not Vince. And so it was a tough deal. And Dwayne Akina the dude was incredible. And I owe him a lot, because people don't realize how close I was to leaving Texas and how much Dwayne Akina played a part in me staying.
So, Chance, did you ever double check with Coach Akina on whether or not he was a 5-star that was leading the country in passing efficiency and was on somebody's Heisman list at the time that Warren replaced him? Do you know if that happened?
We never got that far into it.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Just wondered. Just wondering. Just asking for a friend. All right. By the way, yeah, he did a couple. Quick trivia question, because I think I might know. The Tech quarterback Quandre laid out in 2014. Cumbie? Is that a Sonny Cumbie? Who is that?
It was
the guy that played Mahomes.
It was Mahomes.
Was that Mahomes?
Yes, Quandre lit Mahomes up.
Was that when they were wearing the stupid flag hats?
Yes.
Oh my God, those were terrible helmets.
And it probably would have been called targeting now, but then it was called holy shit, he just killed him.
You're right. God, I forgot it was Mahomes.
Rick just hit him with a trident.
Sorry, I was 10 years off. 04 would have been Cumbie, I think. 14 was with Patrick Mahomes. I was a decade off.
The only one that was harder than the relevancy because of the Mahomes angle, Quandre hitting Mahomes. But somebody mentioned it earlier. When Sergio Kindle hit Taylor Potts so hard in his chin that you thought his head was going to explode off his body.
That was something. And
that was a pre-targeting penalty that should have been targeted, because he hit him right in his chin. Just annihilated him.
And I disagreed with you and Brent Musburger that night, because I thought he hit him and he slid up to the face mask. I didn't think it needed a flag at all.
I've talked to Sergio. He was aiming for his fucking chin.
Good football is all that was. That's all that was. ATX Bates throws us some more money. We appreciate you, Bates. $4.99. Here, Sark/Gideon got Akina and immediately told guys like Jonah Williams, you came for Gideon, apprentice, but now you're getting Akina, the master. That's not a bad way to look at it, I guess. Sure. He's been around long enough that you can definitely lay that out for him. And the resume speaks for itself.
Anybody's going to maximize what Jonah Williams is, it will be a guy like Dwayne Akina. And if you haven't got down to the dish yet and seen him warm up, Jonah Williams looks like, for a freshman, and when he's out there on the baseball field and he's not playing, he's just kind of walking around. He looks like a freaking alien. Like his legs, I think he's 6'4" or 6'5". He looks like he's Wimby out there. Like his legs are so long, like freakish. And then you watch him run, like just around the outfield, and you're like, that is a different level of speed. Like, I'm not saying it's Xavier Worthy fast, but it is freakishly fast. And you don't see too many baseball players that just naturally have that kind of speed where it doesn't look like they're even running. Yet they're 5 feet ahead of everybody else running with them.
Bates, we appreciate the super chat as always. It brings up a question from me. Bo, I got a question for you about Dwayne Akina. But before we do that, why don't we tell the folks about the good folks over at Last Stand Hats? That's right. Last Stand Hats, kids. You got baseball season fired up. You want to get your little Texas baseball hat? Look at that. Look at that. Like I say, that's a little grandpa vibe. And that's a little you vibe right there. You and grandpa go to the games. Want a little baseball hat there, a little softball. How about volleyball, Texas fight, little Omaha horns over here. You know what? I know what you're all thinking. Chad, what about that Texas State team that beat your Aggies? Yeah, congrats to those Texas State Bobcats. Do you know any Bobcats? Maybe you celebrate with a little gear from Last Stand Hats. Notice they're mixing in some other stuff. Look at the little vest. How about that? Not bad. You got a little shirt over here on the right side. Love that logo. The Bobcat logo is sharp. I like this one here. Almost that Clemson vibe, but throw in the claws. Beautiful. Beautiful. You can check that out with Last Stand Hats. And, of course, if you love UTEP, nope, not quite yet. We will let you know when it happens. Last Stand Hats.
UTEP and our Texas basketball team may be sharing the commonality of being left out of the NCAA tournament at the moment.
What is going on? Down 10 here in the early parts of the second half? That is not good. That is not good for Texas. Let me throw up the QR code for Last Stand just to make sure, because we do have 12 different color varieties of this bad boy, the Outsiders hat. You see it there. Go check it out. Outsiders 10 is your code. Use that promo code and get you a little something. Chance is back, so obviously all you guys can field this one, but Ketch and I were having a discussion about Akina today, and I'd asked Ketch this question the other day about kind of the general coaching staff. Now it applies to Akina. In this day and age, Bo, I'll start with you. Do you make Dwayne Akina part of the group of 10 that will go out and recruit? Or do you just let Dwayne Akina at 68 just be Dwayne Akina at 68? Let him be the teacher once they get there. He can communicate with them a lot of ways, but just don't have him out on the road at 68 anymore.
I think that depends on Dwayne Akina. If Dwayne Akina wants to go recruit the talent he's going to be coaching, he's earned. Like most times, some people haven't earned the right or things like that. Dwayne Akina, with his 30-plus years of coaching service, has shown if he wants to go be the cook that's stocking his own kitchen, have at it, Dwayne. Here's the American Airlines card. If not, then you do it for him. And I don't know the answer to that question because I think it's whatever the hell Dwayne Akina wants to do. And I'm not putting him on a pedestal, but he really is as exceptional of a position coach as we've ever had on the 40 acres. Not every coach was meant to be a head coach. Like, sorry, that when Red McComb said about Charlie Strong, it probably wasn't rooted in the same lane. But Charlie Strong was a defensive savant at what he coached. When he was at Florida, there's a reason he's still getting defensive line coaching jobs in the NFL after all the mishaps head coaching. Charlie just didn't run a program very well. Charlie didn't assemble talent as well. Charlie didn't scheme as well on both sides of the ball. But Charlie can coach defense. Dwayne Akina can coach defensive backs. He may not be the best head coach out there. He may not be the best defensive coordinator out there, but he's damn sure one of the best defensive back coaches of our lifetime. You let him call his shot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Chance, do you remember back in the day, like the stories of, Akina as a recruiter back? I'm assuming as high energy as he is, I've said this week, every imitation I've ever heard of Akina is high level, high energy. No, there's volume involved. I feel like he's a guy that could own a living room, but at 68, I agree with Bo. If he tells me he doesn't want to do it, I might not, maybe we figure out a way to go a different direction. What do you remember about him, and the recruiting sort of, reputation?
Here's the thing. Dwayne Akina, and I mean, I saw him last year. I guess it was last February when Cleve unfortunately passed away. He's still got the same energy. Here's the thing that cannot be expressed enough about Dwayne Akina is the genuineness. And when he walks into a room, he brings an energy with him. Even at that time, 67, now 68, he doesn't act like a 68-year-old. If he doesn't want to recruit, that's fine. I just don't see that being him. I think that's a guy that can walk into the room in any house, whether it's an urban setting or if it's an East Texas setting or if it's the middle of the backwoods of Louisiana. He goes in there, he's going to be able to get along with them. Parents are going to trust him. He's going to say, hey, send your kid. You want your kid to go to the NFL? What is it, 41 people that he's put in the NFL? 41? Is that it? I mean, think about that. Like, you walk in, hey, you want your kid? And not only that, now he has the ability to have the bag with him. I mean, come on. Like, go get who you want, Dwayne. Go get the guys you want to coach because he will own any living room he walks into. I think you probably let him be selective, right? Like, you don't have him out all day long, but the guys that you want to go let him go get them.
Yeah, maybe make him the special weapon if you need it. Especially at that position.
He's the coffee is for closers guy that goes into the 5-star that's wavering between Georgia and Texas.
Yeah. Could be it. That
he
could be
recruiting projects.
All right. As I look at this list, I've still got to make a final decision on the Mach 5 top 5. We will get that final determination in. In fact, Chance, why don't you tell the folks about Arch Public? After you do that, I will make the final decision, but tell them what Arch Public's got going on and what they can do for the people.
Yeah, so the guys over at Arch Public, they're really wanting to push their Bitcoin algorithm right now. Right now, there's a lot of buying going on. Bitcoin dipped today. Bitcoin is being bought. Well, that's what Arch Public does. They provide this brand new, incredible algorithm that helps you purchase Bitcoin and add it to your portfolio at strategic points. It enters the market strategically for you. So if you decide, hey, you and your financial advisor say, hey, I need to hold X number of Bitcoin in my portfolio. I want to have that because of the growth potential. Some people are saying it could go up to $250,000 a Bitcoin, sitting at $85,000 right now. So it's a good little investment. But what that algorithm does is over a period of time that you specify to the algorithm, it will make strategic purchases to make sure that you have that Bitcoin in your portfolio, but that you purchased it correctly. Really fascinating type stuff. That's what Tillman and his guys are doing. It's incredible. Check them out. Scan that QR code. Shoot me a DM over on X, and I'll be happy to hook you up with Twitter. I love what they're doing. It's incredible. It's cutting edge. I mean, hell, they got the Cardone brothers on there. How many people do you know can say the Cardone brothers, financial whizzes, love our product? Well, they do, and they're using Arch Public, and you should too.
All right. When it comes to the Mach 5 top 5, I think I've made my decision. And again, the word favorite is very important here. If it had been the best UT defensive backs, I'd have had to grab a shoehorn and find a way to get a damn Thorpe Award winner on this list. Texas has 3 of them ever, and none of them made this list. But you know what?
One of them did.
It's about favorites. Oh, that's not Chance Mock put one of them in. Then he got ripped out. So he got
the arbiter of truth. You can put him back.
But again, it's about favorites. So with all due respect to Mr. Ross and Mr. Huff, Chance says your honorable mention. Chance tried to put Ross in, and I'd have put one of you back in if it was about best, because you guys are awesome. Obviously, Jade Barron would say, hey, what about me? Recency bias. Let's go. But you know what? I'll allow it as long as the guy that delivered those 2 hits and many others is on the list. And I probably would have put Westbrook number 1 as well. So let's go Westbrook 1, the Jammer Diggs committee. I'll allow it at 2. Rod Babers at 3. I do love me some Rod Babers. He breaks down football like nobody I've ever known, and he can play it as well. Aaron Williams, I'll let it happen. I'll let it happen because you and your dad are incredible people. Bo is absolutely right. You're great guys, and this is about favorites.
And he's a Buffalo Bill.
And he's a Buffalo Bill. He's a damn – somehow I'm feeling like I get into a macro. And he's a Bill. He's a Buffalo Bill. He's our guy. Right? He's our guy. Got to have our guy. So, and then we'll go Earl Thomas. I also wanted to make sure Earl was in there, so I liked Jason's move there. I'm a big Earl Thomas guy, especially with what he went on to do at the pro level, but just he was such a badass. So that will be our final list on the Mach 5 top 5 this week. Thank you guys for jumping in on that. If you want to send us a super chat, we can get in there. And this is true. Chris Bennett is absolutely right. Rod B does do a good Akina voice. Chance Mock, do you have a Coach Akina impression that you can hit us with?
No, I can't. But I will say, because Rod B does it so good.
He really does. Yeah,
he does. Come on, guys. Come on. Like he's got this Hawaii accent, and it's awesome. But I can't do it. It doesn't do it justice.
I loved that they all had one. Like over the years, I've interviewed Babers, Griffin, Huff, Ross, like this list of guys. Diggs.
Come on, guys. What are we doing? Get to the ball.
They've all got one. They all have a Coach Akina impersonation, and it is fantastic. All right, let's see. I think we cleaned out all the super chats and chats. We've talked a lot of good Coach Akina tonight. He is back at Texas, going to be, we assume, the safeties coach and defensive passing game coordinator. Plus, here's it. Chance, you made a great point. There's some newness that Akina gets to deal with. He's never gotten to deal with before. Everything that was like on the side of the table, under the table, whispered, it's all out in the open now. He gets to do the NIL version of this sport at Texas. Plus, he walks back into a specialization where there's a safeties coach, a corner coach, a nickel coach, and all these, analysts that can help out, all these different things that, that are going on. And oh, by the way, the energy at Texas right now, a little different than 2013 and the end of the Mac Brown era. So that's got to be cool too. He's coming back for the 25 run, whatever this is about to be with Arch Manning. He gets to be a part of it. That's very cool.
Two things. One, he wasn't in a cave in Hawaii. He's been coaching the whole time this has all existed. He was at Arizona.
That's true.
That's
true. He
Jason,
was actually
you have a dick move
he was
of
at
the week.
Stanford. Stanford is really where he was for about a decade. Then it was a couple at Arizona. Yeah.
Do you have a dick move this week, Jason?
Not necessarily. Would you like to take the reins of the dick move of the week?
I have a dick move, and I have some breaking good news. Y'all probably seen it, but we hadn't discussed it. Dick move is whatever the hell ESPN and the SEC network are doing to my ability to watch Longhorn baseball on Tuesday nights. Because we used to have the Longhorn Network, and you could get the dulcet tones of Greg Swindell and Keith Moreland and watch Texas baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's on ESPN Plus, which I pay for in like 7 different ways between my Disney Plus subscription, my Hulu Plus subscription. I don't know what other, my ESPN.com account subscription. But for some reason, the Tuesday night games won't allow you to watch. It says this is not available in your area.
What?
It's blacked out?
Yes.
Yeah, that's messed
now,
up.
The Saturday game was on there, and the Sunday game I was able to watch. I have not been able to watch the last 2 Tuesday nights on my stupid Fubo TV with all the packages, and I just don't have time to figure out why.
Yeah, that's weird.
They'll black out a game if they haven't sold enough tickets is the idea. And so that's why the weekend games probably are on in the Tuesday.
But I was told by a friend of mine that it has to do with basketball, and there's only so many ESPN people they have to cover basketball and baseball, and so they get the little games get bumped. I don't know. I think it's dumb. The dick move is ESPN. If you're going to freaking take away the Longhorn Network, which I get, give us some Texas baseball. But,
Bo, yeah, it's funny. I've been mentioning it just to kind of get the people's mindset back to where it needs to be there. I feel so bad for those fans that have been watching LHN all these years because every home game was on, and I counted them up. There are 11 games this year, 11 that are on a regular channel. ESPN, ESPN2, SEC Network. There are 37 games on Plus. 37.
Well, but I've seen games on Plus. It's only the Tuesday night games on Fubo. And now people are telling me that if I had YouTube TV, which can kiss my fat ass.
Wow.
No.
What did YouTube TV do to you?
It didn't do anything, but I'm not switching providers again. All the providers should have all the damn channels.
Man, it is crazy. Yes.
I'm willing to pay. Don't black me out, damn it.
If you have not told Bo Edge or your granddad how to get ESPN Plus to watch Texas baseball, please do that. Make sure he's got your password.
Like 3 logins. Like,
No
I'm trying
trouble.
to. All right, I'm not going down that.
Bo, I got 3 logins. 3 of them. What is
And
happening?
none of them
here?
will let me watch the damn baseball game. Did y'all see what the NFL committee decided?
I did not.
What I think is going to be the best rule change in the last 20 years of the NFL.
Okay.
No more first downs measured by a chain. They are using what's called Hawkeye laser technology to determine whether it was a first down or not.
So they're going to what this is what the UFL used last year. So they're going to this once again. They're going to a spring league like they did with the kickoff, and they're going to try something out, huh?
Chance, you don't like that?
Day late, dollar short. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I agree.
Some Buffalo Bills soreness still there.
Yeah.
I've been asking for 15 years on the radio about the goddamn chains because I don't understand the system. Sometimes the chain is like running crooked it's not perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. I don't understand how they work.
They're going to keep the chains as a quote backup, and so that the players have landmarks on the field to run to. Fine, keep the chains out there. I got no issue with it. I think you don't actually need the chain. You could just have them with markers so people don't get tripped up in a chain that doesn't serve a purpose anymore. But the fact that moving forward, and I'm sorry, Chance, I wasn't doing it to poke the bear.
Yeah, you didn't. You just opened a small wound that was not quite healed.
I don't think it was ever small, and I don't think it will ever heal. But it kind of healed because you got to watch the Eagles put them in their place. But it will be nice if the first down has the capability of while you're watching a game, it just tells you.
Well, okay, but here's the question:
is it a first down or not? Yes.
But here's the question, bro. Well, you know the world we live in as sports fans and just people in general right now. Will you trust it?
Yes.
You sure? Because all we do is rip the system they have now. They're replacing it with something else.
The system they have now was something that was built in 1924 and involves 80-year-old dudes with a chain.
But I hear you,
Chad. There's something that we can do better than that.
I'm just saying, look, when I saw it when it was the Arlington Renegades and the Houston Roughnecks, when I saw that technology, I went, oh, that's cool. And in my mind, I thought, I guess I trust it. But then again, I'm watching a UFL game. So when it comes to an NFL moment and Chance Mock is watching his Buffalo Bills, is Chance going to trust the spot?
I can tell you this after I'm not going down the tunnel, but
please, come on.
Well, look, I don't think the NFL rigged it for the Chiefs. I don't. But we all know when you're coaching kids, you have your favorite. When you're teaching in a classroom, you have your favorite kids. They get away with more than the others. You tend to want to do things for them more than others. That can affect the call a whole lot more. I can tell you this. I would have trusted an electronic mark more than I trusted those officials, especially when one was a yard farther ahead and was overruled, even though Josh's back was dim and he couldn't even see the ball. And that's the one that made the mark. I'd rather trust the electronics.
It takes the ambiguity out of it. How many times do you watch an NFL game where the spot literally is Chance of describing, but the guy that's walking, they literally have a guy put his arm and start walking to the spot. And yes, I realize that they have a marker they're going to and they know what they're trying to do. First down shouldn't be determined by whether the guy had a little wobbly boot as he was walking 8 steps to the sideline. So call it on a computer screen and have them place the ball. At least it'll be uniform from game to game to game.
So my thing is this, guys. If we can send a rocket up and towards space, then we can catch the rocket on landing.
Oh, Lord.
I would think that we could figure out a way to electronically grid a football field and know exactly where the ball's progress stopped.
Well, that's what this is supposed to do. I'm not a Hawkeye virtual technology expert, but if this is where they're going with it, good. Especially because the expediency of it. Like, they're going to tell you point blank, first down or not. We don't have to wait a minute and a half with a free timeout as they run some curmudgeon old dude on the field to stretch a chain. Like, no, just
but you know
yes
what that
no.
means? You know what that means? Go ahead, Chad.
Well, I was going to say, the only thing I will tell you is after all these years of watching it, I would tell you to trust the tennis people. That's all I would tell you. Big Cheddar says the NFL is like 20 years late. Tennis Reviews have been using something like this for in and out calls for nearly 2 decades. When it first happened, Big Cheddar, I remember John McEnroe bitching and moaning about it. He doesn't anymore. And is it perfect? No. Do they have little moments? Yes. Did Roger Federer think it made mistakes sometimes? Yes, absolutely. But to Bo's point, it's quick, it's efficient, it's a little different because the ball on that court is, I think, different than a ball advancing on a football field. But if they can get close to that and use that type of technology, then I think I would ultimately agree with Chance. Go that way in this sport if you can, and maybe, use the computer stuff in baseball too. They're going to do that in spring training.
Works,
some balls and strikes, maybe.
It will change a couple other things too, because if it works, no longer do you have to have the free timeout in college football, essentially, where you stop the clock to move the chains on a first down towards the end of the game. That would go away. First it's going to start in the NFL, but if college adapts the same technology, you don't have to stop the clock to move the chains.
You just go.
You can just go, because look, if Tiger Woods can have a golf league where they literally put a dot on a green and tell you where you're going to put the ball, they can do that in the NFL and just have a green dot on the field where the ref sets the ball.
But you know what we're going to miss? We're going to miss the dramatic moment when a referee comes up and slides a card.
Gene Steratore.
In between the ball and...
We're going to miss different things there, homie, because I don't miss that one bit.
I did enjoy that.
You didn't think that was great that he had to pull out the card?
All right, Bo, I got another question for you on this topic. But before we do that, let's make sure you tell them about Gold and Griff Construction Services. What do they need to know, my friend?
They need to know that spring is here, and this is spring cleaning time, spring project time. This is when you do all the things around the house that you've put on a list, but you had your excuses. It was Christmas time. It's cold outside. You still don't want to do it. You put it off so you can watch football, but now your significant other is begging you to get the stuff done. Hang a TV, do this, do that. Just call Golden Griff. Just call Billy Sargent and Golden Griff. Phone number is 512-733-9789. That's 512-733-9789. Professional general contractor that doesn't act like it because he does small projects. This is the company he founded with his family. This is the company that he's teaching his family how to be a part of this trade. This is help people in our community get things done at an affordable rate. He can do the big GC stuff if you have big projects. Golden Griff can handle it. But if you just want stuff done around your house, but you don't want it done by the handyman advertising on Nextdoor that you don't know who the hell he is or if he's going to take your money, Golden Griff is the answer to everything you need. Once again, 733-9789. It is Golden Griff.
All right, rolling through the outsiders here on a Wednesday. So I have not seen the story about this new technology for the NFL. Do we know if the Bills' play would have been a first down?
Yes.
No, not. I'm saying, do we know technologically for sure? Have they said that?
They did. That was not in the story.
They didn't clarify? Okay. So
Chance listens to a lot of AM Bills radio, so I guarantee you tomorrow all they're going to talk about is how they've done it, and Hawkeye has said that that they were screwed.
So here's the other thing I never got from the UFL broadcast. Maybe I wasn't paying attention closely enough as to how it's actually determined. Like the ball and the tennis line, I kind of get how you can get to that spot, but how do they determine where the ball is? Who does it? And how do we trust it to be accurate?
I would assume there's some sort of a chip in the ball that is graphing where the location of the ball is.
I thought they were using AI technology to
yeah.
I don't know.
You don't even need a chip in the ball, all right? Like they've got cameras everywhere that they're smart and they see the football and know the football. Like you can look at this in the NBA now. They track every single player's movement throughout the game, every step that they take. And the player's not wearing a sensor or anything like that. The camera just looks at him and says, that's LeBron James. That one's Luka. He's fat.
So what about the players that just stand there and don't do shit?
The Jason Dick
not
method.
doing any movement?
Well, I mean, think about it. In soccer, when you're watching the World Cup, they will tell you how many miles the player ran during the match.
Yeah, that part I get. What I'm saying, though, Jason, is everybody that watched that game, including Chance, who's obviously rooting for the Bills, knows it was hard to see that ball. from both angles. One angle, it's almost impossible to see it. The other angle, I think I saw it, and I think he got to the line. But how do we know for sure with this technology? Do they have a way to like make all the players disappear? Like, how do they know where the ball is?
Yes. I mean, kind of like, these 360-degree camera things, kind of. But it's not going to be perfect, but it is, to Bo's point, going to be better than a rotund 58-year-old man running sideways across the field to say this is where he was down. It's going to be better than that.
I agree. In fact, you knew at that moment. I can still feel the moment, and I thought immediately of Chance and Blake, the super producer, because these are the two people I knew on both sides of the game. As soon as I saw those two guys running in at different spots on a different line, I literally out loud was like, "Oh hell, here we go, here we go." And I thought, okay, we're about to have one of those moments, and if that fixes it, good for them.
And I think Chance said it best. It's not a conspiracy theory, but human error can come into play when you're using. Kudos for the use of the word rotund. That I wasn't expecting that on my bingo card tonight, Jason. But like, this is just a way to let the science and technology evolve, and it will eventually get better than what it is. But it has to be something different than anytime you can take human people out of it when it comes to making decisions that affect on a global scale. Like in this situation, let them. Emotions do play a part. When it's human nature to favor the home team as a official in any sport because you're hearing it all the time. There's some particular a-holes in this world, but nobody wants to be the one that lets down all those people with a call that hurts them. Now, do you make it? Yeah, but if you can take that out of it, yes. Why can't we use eventually referees in games that call pass interference based off how it's programmed into their system using pressure points and things like that? Did a guy nudge a guy or did a guy shove the shit out of a guy? And that let the machine tell us.
Yeah, dude, if we, Bo, I've been asking for the shove the shit detector in the NFL for a long time. If we can get that, I think it perfects the game.
I mean, forget about self-driving cars. We need to shove the shit.
I was gonna say, listen to Elon over here who wants to take all the human beings out of it and says, you know what? All the referees right now, you write a letter about what you do in a game, okay? I want you to write a paper about what
they probably could. That's the thing.
That is great.
It would take me all of 3 minutes to write 5 things that I did today, let alone last week.
NFL, well done.
But some of those aren't suitable for our airwaves, so you have to take a little bit of time to self-edit.
NFL, congratulations on your technological advancement. As a tennis fan, I would tell you, ask them how they do challenges and think about yours. All right, here's some other questions real quick. ATX Bates, $1.99, robots calling balls and strikes. Yay or nay? Who's in favor of the robots?
Every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Back when I used to like baseball, I enjoy the umpire giving me a dramatic. So can I still have that? Can he?
Well, no, you still need the guy behind the plate to call plays at the plate, to call catcher interference, to call.
But he's also, this is what I love about it, Bo, is I don't think they should be calling down from the booth and saying, no, that was a strike. I like how they're doing it where the batter has the opportunity to go, no. I want to check that. And if the I'm fine with that. I don't want them checking every pitch. I think the batter should have the opportunity, and it shouldn't be unlimited, but they should have the opportunity to say no.
Am I right in, guys, they're only allowing 3 people to challenge: batter, pitcher, catcher?
Correct.
Is that it, or does the coach?
No, the coach doesn't. It's batter, pitcher, catcher, and there's limitations. I don't know exactly what they are, but I would be fine if the umpire had a little device in his boot, almost like the cheaters at the card, at blackjack and casino movies, where where you can still get the Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen, strike 3. That's fine. But
Bo, I don't think you're far off. I really don't. If I'm not mistaken, some of the stuff they've tested, like you're literally wearing something that literally goes red or green. Like seriously, I think that signal gets
but that's what I'm saying. I'm
to the
fine
person
for having the ump back there and the drama of the Steve or all that. Great. What I don't want and this is just to use an example of when we were younger and watching baseball, and I still think he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. But Greg Maddux would get to a point where he was so dialed in that his catcher would set up outside the bat, like inside the batter's line, a clear 9+ inches off the plate, and he'd hit it perfect. Mm-hmm. And you're looking there going, if the guy threw the bat at the ball, he couldn't have got it that far out there.
Hey, Bo, like in casino, should we, if the umpire misses too many calls, we take him in the back and smash their hand with a hammer?
Well, I was going to say you hit him with the bat and throw him in a grave in Iowa like they did to Joe Pesci. But sorry, spoiler alert. I didn't mean to ruin the movie.
Yeah. And by the way, fellas, to my point on the tennis system, baseball's paying attention. If I'm hearing it correctly, you get as many correct challenges as you need, just like tennis. They give you a certain number of incorrect challenges. That's what football should do, in my opinion, and that's what baseball's going to do. If they're screwing up 5 times in a game, why should I put stuff like timeouts up for grabs if you're the one screwing up? That doesn't make sense. So if you get the Angel Hernandez game and he screws up 5 of them, I need to get all 5 back, and you can't punish me for that.
Okay, but here's where the human effect comes in. And baseball, I believe, has a lot more of it than football. Just as a guy that coached baseball, there's a lot more personalities involved in baseball, and there are umpires that do not like certain managers, and it's just a fact. And how easily, if they didn't do it that way, Chad, how easily could an umpire sway a game to call some bullshit call, knowing he's going to have to use one of them here and just not caring?
Yeah, and that's why taking that out is smart right at the beginning. You're right, Chance, because if the personal stuff and they'll keep track of it. Baseball keeps track of.
You can't tell me Angel Hernandez did not have personal vendettas with several coaches in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah. The Angel, if he's still going to be allowed to be an ump after this technology, the numbers they'll collect on that man will be insane with what they're going to find out. All right, let's see what else we need to do. Bo, before we get out of here, let's give him the info on the Jeff Onoveros tournament one more time. It is coming up in April.
April 26th, Forest Creek Golf Club. Scan the QR code right there. Go. You can hit me up on Facebook. I spoke to Jeff's widow this week. They need more teams in this event. It was sold out last year. It is not sold out yet this year. We need to, if you're a Longhorn fan, especially if you're from Round Rock, like Jason, myself, and many of the others that I know are watching this program, Jeff Onoveros has been was a part of our lives since we were born. Jeff Onoveros was the life of the party. He was fun. He loved kids. He dedicated his life to helping youth in baseball. And that's what the Jeff Onoveros Field of Dreams Foundation is trying to continue, to help kids. Baseball is an expensive sport now. It's not like when we were young and growing up and you could buy a bat at Walmart. That's not how it works now. Kids need equipment. Kids need help. Kids need training. The Onoveros Field of Dreams Foundation, ran by his wife, his widow, Emily, is trying to do that. It's going to be a fun-ass golf tournament, April 26th at Forest Creek Golf Club. Like I said, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, any of the social medias. I'm not on there all the time, but I will check messages or scan the QR code that takes you to the website, gives you all the information. I'll be there with a team defending my title. Come on out. Come play. Lots of former Texas baseball players. Let's rock. Jeff Onoveros Field of Dreams Tournament.
There you go. It is the Outsiders. And a reminder, we are brought to you by Poncho. I didn't point it out earlier, but I think Jason's rocking a poncho tonight. Jason?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
I do not dare tell you what model this is because I messed it up so bad last week, but I like it. I like it.
This is what's that? Is that long sleeve black? What is that?
Yeah.
So, I believe that is the Piedras Negras.
Yeah. I think that's right. And that's probably right.
And it's approved by Jason Dick. So watch out.
My shirt is
Piedras Negras.
My shirt is known with the one with the armadillo on it. That's what it is right there. That's my t-shirt. I wear them all the time. Bo's got the hat on. And we remind you, it is springtime, kids. I've got the Bat Masterson. I've gotten compliments on it. I got the Pinos Altos. I wore it the other day. I even wore it on the show the other night. I've gotten compliments. The Buckhorn, the Bonito, all kinds of great short sleeve. This is where I go. This is my groove of poncho. Short sleeve, mother of pearl snap in the Western section, and then just roll. Just let me see what you got. Good stuff for springtime. Get those short sleeve poncho shirts. You can do so much with them. All right. I think we're done. Anybody else got any business they need to take care of?
I have a correction. You may have heard me say earlier on the show that Earl Thomas and his brother once had a threesome, and maybe you guys very uncomfortable, and I'm sure you're happy that I'm bringing it up again. But the Outsiders fact checkers, hard at work as usual, and so I need to tell you that he did not have a threesome. We believe it was a full-on orgy.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, Jason, in your excellent dick knowledge, what constitutes an orgy?
Well,
here we go.
Is there a number?
Really? That's the last question of the night. What constitutes? Not ATX Bates.
Okay, I literally put the joke on a tee. Exactly. It was the Mach 5. I was literally putting the joke on the tee for him to go 5, 5, 5.
Let me see if I can beat. Can I beat ATX Bates to the punch here? ATX Bates, who are you going to cast as Earl Thomas? Huh? Chadwick Boseman? Who is it? Huh?
Who was
Black
Sanford's
Panther?
son on Sanford and Son? What was that dude's name?
What, Red Fox? What are you
No,
going?
not Red Fox. His son.
Oh, Lamont, you big dummy.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name that played Lamont. I will be honest with you. I am terribly sorry. Terribly sorry. Randy, I'm just going to put these words on the screen. I'm not going to say them out loud. I don't know. This sounds good. There you go. All right. I think that's it, kids. We're done. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. There's 800 of you in that Specs chat as we get ready to close up. Speaking of Specs, that's the one thing I didn't do. They got a wine sale going on. Go get you a bottle of wine. It's ooh la la time. Here we go.
Ooh la la. What a fabulous selection. I think I found my perfect pairing. You and Specs low prices.
Specs huge wine sale going on now.
That is high tech, man. They made the rabbit blush. All right. Next Wednesday at 8:30, we'll be back with an Outsiders. We'll have another Mach 5 top 5. Will it be the worst headgear that a fan can wear? I don't know. Might be. Might be.
I think it's the Mach 5 top 5 dumbest things Jason said on our YouTube show.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Never. That's what we
It was
count
a
on.
full-blown orgy is going to be one of them.
That's our fuel. That is the extra side question of next week. What makes it an orgy? How do you know? That could be the story. Everybody sends their stories into the chat of, and then, fellas, I realized I'm at an orgy. It just became an orgy. Like, what was
Why are we discussing Michigan's football quarterback play right now?
That's Michigan. Yes, Michigan football fans always know when it's an orgy. All right. Y'all have a great week. And remember to catch all the Orange Bloods live content. Texas basketball. Yeah, we're not going to discuss that. We didn't discuss it really at all tonight. And every time we check the score, we decided to keep not talking about it. We'll talk to y'all next Wednesday at 8:30.
Not discussing us at all.
Not discussing. Yeah, exactly. Committees not discussing. Y'all have a great week. Welcome back to Austin to Coach Akina. Welcome to Austin to Coach Scott. And I think now, Longhorn fans, you can exhale on your staff as it stands for 2025. We will talk to you next week. Until then, we are the Outsiders, and we are legitimately worth the shit. See ya.